Hello everyone, welcome to Focused Fields. Today's topic for discussion is a topic from Indian polity, historical background. In this video, we'll be covering Regulating Act of 1773 and Act of Amendment or Act of Settlement 1781. Now let's see the background first. Imagine a single corporation entity with its own CEO, with its own shareholders, and with its own board of directors, suddenly conquering an entire country, raising the army twice the size of Great Britain. This isn't a sci-fi movie, it is East India Company. But this corporation completely broke and corrupted to the core. The British government had to step in before company dragged the entire British Empire down. This is the story behind why Regulating Act of 1773 was drafted. Now let's rewind the whole story from the year 1600. In the year 1600, Queen Elizabeth I has granted monopoly charter to private merchants. That private merchants are called as East India Company. Once the charter was granted, they had come to India and their goal is simple. Their goal is to buy less from India and sell it more to Britain and other countries and to gain tremendous profits. They followed this principle for nearly 100 years. And when they came to India, begged the mighty Mughal Empire, which was once powerful in India, for the permissions to establish trade posts in Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta. After the permissions were granted, they established their trade posts and they followed their principle, which is buying for less price at India and selling at higher prices in their countries. This was the principle of East India Company. For the next 100 years, this followed. What happened in the year 1700? Mughal Empire started to weaken. This was the advantage for East India Company and their greed took over. What happened in the year 1757? Everything changed. A battle was fought with the name Battle of Plassey. It was fought between private army of East India Company and Nawab of Bengal. In this battle, Nawab of Bengal was defeated and East India Company won. After 8 years, in the year 1765, Treaty of Allahabad was signed. Now, what was this treaty? It was signed by Mughal Empire to East India Company. In this treaty, Mughal Empire has given Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. All these three states. Now, what does Diwani mean? It isn't a normal term. It is right to collect the taxes in those states. Now, you would be thinking, after getting the Diwani rights of these places, the company is drowning with money. No, that's wrong. Company is facing three major problems. The first one is corruption, where the employees of East India Company are underpaid. If the employees are underpaid, they'll be finding other ways to earn the money. What the other ways were found? They made private trade. That's the first reason. And second reason being dual government, where East India Company has taken Diwani rights of all these three places, Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. But the administration was handed over to Nawab of those places, where Bengal is ruled by Nawab of Bengal, Orissa is ruled by Nawab of Orissa. In such a way, the Nawabs were ruling that place. And the problem with Nawab is they are having power, but they were not having money. But if we see in the case of East India Company is having money, but they are having zero responsibility towards the administration. So this created a mess in all those places. That's the second issue. And third and major issue is 1770 famine that has occurred in Bengal. Now, what is this famine? In the year 1770, a famine took place. When the famine took place over these places, especially in Bengal, the so-called sovereign rulers, British East India Company, they need to assist the people during hard times. But what has happened? Everything was reversed. They put on hefty amount of taxes on the people. That's the first thing. And due to that reasons, one third of people were perished. Once one third of people were perished in that place, what would happen? Their economy would collapse, and that led to fall of East India Company. These are the three major reasons why East India Company could not make profits. By the year 1772, the employees in the East India Company are returning to England. They were not returning to England as a normal employees, but they were returning as a billionaires. How we have discussed how they have gained those percentage of money being employees. Now, what happened in the year 1773? East India Company has gone bankrupt. Now, when the company has gone bankrupt, they went to England begging for financial bailout. The authorities knew the whole British government economy would collapse. So, for this reason, they agreed for the loan with a statement saying we are going to help you, but from now we owe you. That was the statement given by British authorities. With this, we came to know that British government is taking over East India Company as a legal entity from now. So for this reason, Regulating Act of 1773 was drafted. Now, what changes were made in Regulating Act of 1773? The first thing, Governor of Bengal was made as Governor General of Bengal. We can see it is a centralizing tendency where Governor of Madras and Governor of Bombay were made subordinates to him. So this shows the centralizing tendency. And the second thing, British government in the Regulating Act 1773 has stated that from now the private trade will be banned. The next important thing that was done in Regulating Act 1773 is they established Supreme Court at Calcutta. That Supreme Court is consisting one Chief Justice plus 3 other judges. Regulating Act 1773. What it is? It is to regulate the affairs in India. Whose affairs? East India Company affairs. Political and administrative functions were recognized for the first time in India. It is the foundation for central administration. As we discussed, Governor General of Bengal was made as a superior. Under him, there were subordinates, Governor of Madras and Governor of Bombay. These were the subordinates under Governor of Bengal. And the next important thing, as we have discussed, designation of Governor of Bengal into Governor General of Bengal with Executive Council of 4 members to assist him. Now, how these 4 members are going to assist him? These 4 members are going to assist him in decision making. That is the work of Executive Council. It made Governor General of Bengal as a supreme and others as subordinates. As we discussed, Governor of Madras and Governor of Bombay are subordinates to Governor General of Bengal. It established the Supreme Court at Calcutta in 1774. Company to report military, civil and revenue affairs within India. That is Regulating Act 1773. After 8 years, they felt that there were some flaws in Regulating Act of 1773. To correct those flaws, Act of Amendment or Act of Settlement was introduced in the year 1781. The name itself says amendment. Amendment means making some changes in what was present. What Regulating Act 1773 has done? It created executive and judiciary both, but it forgot to draw a line for the jurisdiction. So this created a conflict. So for this reason, what was done? This act exempted Governor General and Council and servants of the company from the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. This act exempted all these people, Governor General and his 4 members council plus servants who are working for the East India Company from the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Now, whatever their official capacities. Now, these official capacities mean, example, this 4-member council, their work is to take decisions. If they take any decision that exploit the Indian subjects, the court could not initiate any trials on them. That is the meaning of exemption. They got immunity. It excluded revenue matters and matters arising out of revenue from Supreme Court. Now, who would be seeing the revenue matters and matters related to revenue? It is Governor General and his council. Implement hefty amount of taxes with no trials. That is the second amendment that has been made in 1781. Supreme Court to have jurisdiction over all inhabitants of Calcutta. Courts to administer personal law of defendants. What does these lines mean? Earlier, in Regulating Act 1773, English law was tried on Indian subjects. If there is any change in customs and traditions, the native people will not be accepting it. So for that reason, what Act of Amendment 1781 did? It said that Hindus to be tried under Hindu religious law and Muslims to be tried under Islamic Sharia law. That has been stated. Next thing, appeals from provincial courts could be taken to Governor General in Council and not to the Supreme Court. If there is any appeal, that will be taken over to Supreme Court. But in this Act of Amendment, it is being said that it is not mandatory that your appeals need to go for Supreme Court. You can bring them to Governor General in Council too. That was amended. And it also empowered the Governor General in Council to frame regulation for provincial courts and councils. In place of Supreme Court, it is being said that the Governor General in Council are going to make rules and regulations for the provincial court and the provinces. Thank you.